Hello, and welcome to the 2021 Corporate Humor Awards. I am Andrew Tarvin.
I'm Vandad Porbarami.
We are your hosts for today's event, and we are excited to be here with all of you to be chatting and to celebrate 30 days of humor.
30 days.
How have you been feeling the last 30 days?
Good. Not exhausted at all.
Right, yeah, it's not exhausting at all to do some type of event every single day. We've had a fantastic time over the last 30 days celebrating National Humor Month. We've done something for every single one of the humor profiles. You know, for the appreciators, we had some virtual shows that we had a lot of fun with. For the creators, we had the opportunity to do a writing workshop. You've helped to lead stuff here for the appreciators, the Humor Awards.
Yes, and today we're celebrating the Humor Awards, which is super exciting. Drew, have you ever won any awards?
Have I won any award? I did win. I won Teacher's Pet in high school. That is going to be a surprise to no one. If they know me, they're like, yep, that seems about on board. What about you? Any awards you got?
Yeah, I won like my high school valedictorian and a couple, couple things. But I think the most memorable award was I got finished his whole sandwich once in grade 1. I think.
That's pretty good. I mean, valedictorian, finish his whole sandwich, both are pretty good. I will tell you that I would not have gotten that award today. I had a turkey sandwich for lunch. I did not finish it because I did not eat the crust. I'm not a crust person.
It's the best part. It's the best part. All right. Well, agree to disagree, I guess.
We agree to disagree, exactly. No, so we're super excited. We're coming to you live from the Steady Now studios here in Brooklyn, New York. We are both vaccinated, so that's pretty good. That's why we're standing this close to each other. We've got an incredible team behind the scenes that are helping us out today for the award show. In fact, none of this would be possible without the Steady Now Productions team. Steady Now allows organizations of any size to present live and online events which are interesting, memorable, and dare we say fun. They're the ones making it happen behind the scenes, and they're going to be helping us to make this whole show a little bit interactive. In fact, we can get started with a test question because we're going to have some interactivity for you. The way that this will work is you can go to humor.me/play on your computer or your phone. And if you wait a moment for it to load, it might take a second to load as it goes through kind of the internet and all the webs and all of that kind of stuff that it has to do. You go to that, humor.me/play, and then you'll be able to play along. Now, our first question for you is, first of all, Vanda and I both have what we would consider rapper aliases. Yours is?
V. Diddy.
Okay, mine is Drew Pak. Now, has anyone ever actually called you V. Diddy?
Yes, I forced it onto them. It's a shame you can't self-nickname, but over the past 15 years now, I've forced a couple people to call me V. Diddy.
Okay, all right, yeah. No one has ever called me Drew Pak. I do not have the street cred to pull it off, I think. So our first poll question for you is going to be, which is the cooler nickname? Is it Drew Pak or is it V. Diddy? So again, if you go to humor.me/play, you'll go to the website, and then you will be able to vote in this poll to say, okay, is it Drew Pak is a cooler name, V. Diddy is a cooler name? Unfortunately, you can't pick neither, right? We're gonna settle this once and for all.
This show is pretty vain, we're gonna talk about ourselves, so we're just warming you up to,
Absolutely. Well, certainly if you would, people can share in the comments their own nicknames that they wish they were called. If they have their own kind of rapper aliases, feel free to share that in the comments as well. But we've got just a few seconds left. It's coming in. We're pretty close. It's pretty close. But I'm hearing that is the final tally. So 60% to Drew Pak. Thank you. Let's see. Fist bump to all of you out there that is doing that. I do a fist bump because there is statistically less germ transfer.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. That's important. This last year.
Exactly. If the last thing has taught us anything, that is very, very important. Now, of course, for today's show, we've got a wide variety of things that we're going to be doing. Not only are we going to be recognizing some great people, organizations, and individuals for the awards, which we're going to talk about in just a second, but we have this interactivity, and in fact, we're going to also have a great prize pack giveaway where we're going to select one of you playing at home, and the winner will receive this starter pack for humor. Included in the starter pack is a humor notebook for you to capture all of the ideas in, for you to kind of use a little bit of humor. We've got the Humor That Works book to introduce some ways to incorporate humor into your workplace. We've got a Blue Yeti microphone that we'll be sending out. That's so that you can actually share your humor and you sound good doing it in an online environment. And then we also have a coaching session with Humor That Works that will be able to give you very specific feedback on how you can incorporate humor into your work. We've got more details about that, so you're going to want to play along and stick through the entire show, because we got quiz questions coming up so that you can win that starter pack. But the real reason that we're here is for the awards.
Yeah. And we want to give a huge shout out to our guest panelists for their help selecting tonight's winners. So as you can see, we have 4 amazing humor experts helping us this year. We have Abby Crutchfield, who is the host of Up Early Tonight on Hulu, and you may have seen her on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. We have Don Wiseman, who's a professor at Barrett College at CUNY, New York, teaching communications and improvisation. He's also an author of Improv for Democracy. We have Gary Ware, who is the founder of Breakthrough Play, a self-proclaimed creative catalyst for play, and a certified coach. And Tammy Evans was a speaker and positivity expert. She taught Dr. Oz how to chair dance and performs daily for her family during COVID. They thank us for the break. We got that personal message. And so we sat down with these humor panelists earlier this month, and here are some highlights from our conversation.
This is Vandad from Humor That Works. We are halfway through National Humor Month, everyone. Woo. 30 free events in 30 days. Woo! Yes, not exhausting at all.
This Humor That Works is about finding humor in unexpected places, right? So I think IKEA should get an award for the maze they create on trying to trap people inside. Like, I could not get out of one. I went there for lunch with my toddler because I thought it would be quick and easy. And it was. Getting there was fine. Leaving was impossible. It felt like Hotel California. I was like,
are you still there, Abby? Is that why
I might be. Exactly.
Like,
you see this furniture?
I went from doing everything in person to doing everything virtual. And I'm like, how am I going to keep people interested when we're like the Brady Bunch? So I've thought about the element of surprise. Like, how can I do like some sort of delight so that I can get people to like, oh, he's still there. And he's, and he's somewhat interesting. And anything that adds a little bit of like slapstick humor or something like that, like the...
Yes, sound effects are always great.
Yeah, we need more air horns in corporate meetings of like, and here are the numbers for this fiscal quarter. Pow, 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 pow.
We're gonna have to let go a few people. Beep, 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 beep. Some levity.
I was teaching completely all in-person improv classes, right, left, and central when the pandemic hit. And immediately I had a little no enter my mind of like, no, this has to be in person. And then the past year has just been amazing. And actually, I think my surprise was finding out that some things can be done better online than in person. Give you some examples. Just we've had things where people will change the scenes behind them when we put them in 2-person scenes. And we've been doing film things like everybody go off screen. And I've been playing this game called Zoom Bomb, where we have to all go off screen and Zoom bomb the room at a certain time. And just anything that's like, this is bad, we're trying to turn into something good and fun to play with rather than just denying the reality of it.
Do you think you can learn to be funny? Let's say you're in the most serious industry in the world, can you learn to be funny, and can you learn to implement that at your work?
I don't think it starts with being funny. I think it starts with thinking funny. And so if you start practicing thinking in your head, just anytime something happens, and it's especially effective when things aren't going well. Whenever something horrible happens, you go, well, it's going to be a great story someday. So if you just turn that way of thinking into what could be humorous about this situation right now, then you just kind of start to prime those, neurons, and then eventually it'll start coming out.
They're all in different industries, but could you imagine a leader or a workplace where there's absolutely no laughter? Like, could you imagine what that would be like?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, been there.
We're all shell-shocked from those leaders.
That's why we're here, is because we were all there before.
Exactly.
But yeah, the alternative is there, right? It exists. And so that's what we have to make sure that we don't lean towards?
In the corporate world, it's a big one. It's kind of obvious, but I've always just been, my jaw still drops at this. Just Geico. How did Geico? I want to go back to the meeting, right? Like, what was the meeting where they all got together and someone came in and was like, a lizard with an English accent. That's it, but that's it. Somebody there or a group had to be like, you know, we're just going completely out of the park for this idea. Let's try it.
Domino's as another one that comes to
That sounds
mind.
like Domino's, yeah. When they recognize their pitfall.
Yeah, where they recognize, oh, wow, our pizza sucks. And again, just calling it out. And I think there's something with that. We talk about this in improvisation of just stating the obvious, you know, what's the truth, and then running with that.
Comedy is trial and error, especially in my world with stand-up. It's like you have to fail a ton in order to get to the good stuff. So I wouldn't, like you said, Van Dad, it was like, it's not about being hilarious. And it's also not about getting it right. It's about trying.
Well, and part of the context that we talk about with corporate humor is that the goal is not to become a stand-up comedian. It's not to be seen as someone that should have a Netflix comedy special. I mean, if that's what you want to do from a performance standpoint, great. And there are places for that, like open mics or stand-up shows or improv shows, etc. But in the workplace, the intent is to use humor to get better results, to be intentional about it, and to create a positive, more effective workplace environment.
I think over the past 10 to 15 years, the thing I most hear in doing like team building sessions, improv-based team building sessions in corporations, people just say, they come at the end and they say, I got to see a different side of other people. I think there's something to that, just allowing spaces and climates for people to see different sides, the multifaceted nature of people, period.
The assessment is a really interesting tool. As we went through the assessment, I was like, well, yeah, duh, of course. Who would do that? Who wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? And then I thought, oh, there's a whole world of people who would answer this assessment differently.
You know how they have like what are the 5 love languages? What if you're a leader and you found out what your team's humor profile, and you did what you could to sort of like elevate that?
If you want to do that assessment, you can do that at humor.me/assessment. None of them were paid to say any of those things about our assessment. So thank you also for saying nice things about the assessments. We agreed. What? Yeah, sorry, Tammy. Sorry. Yeah, you thought you all were. But you're paid in smiles.
Thanks. So this has been our humor expert panel. They are going to be choosing the Corporate Humor Award winners. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, and thank you, Lydia Gordon, for editing that video. That was our humor panel. And as mentioned, it was just one of our 30 events that we've done this month for National Humor Month. We've done a Truth or Laughs game show, writing workshops, humor drop-in hours with Drew. So make sure to check out all the events on humor.me/30. Total side note, but what a handsome moderator that was. I think I'm a pretty good looking guy. But now it's time for what all you've been waiting for. Let's get to the 2021 Corporate Humor Awards. We've got 2 categories of awards. We have organizations and individuals. So the organizational awards are for entire organizations who improve the workplace with a humorous culture. So these nominations are themed by the 5 core skills of work from the Humor That Works book, which brings us to our first quiz question. As a reminder, one of the items you'll be getting for the sweepstakes is a humor notebook. This is the spot to write down some of the humor ideas that you have. For example, some of the entries in my current notebook are, there is the World Darts Championship coming to New York City this summer. The World Darts Championships are coming to Madison Square Garden, and nosebleed seats are going for $300. $300 for nosebleed seats. And it made me think, are we a little too excited? Like, have we gone overboard with the excitement? Like, we're willing to pay $300 to see darts on a screen 1,000 feet away, as opposed to seeing darts on our own screens at home. You know, the screen at home, the darts will be bigger. They'll be 2 feet away, but it's like, we got to get out. We all got to get out of the house. So, yeah, make sure to write some of those things down in your humor notebook. To play, just go to humor.me/play on your laptop or smart device or anything that has an internet connection. So even if you're even if you have a fancy one, once the page loads, which may take a second, you'll be able to play. So your first question is, which of the following is not one of the 5 core skills of work? Is it execution, communication, or replying all? Pretty tough one. Almost there, almost there. Oh, we're getting some votes. None for execution and communication so far, but maybe people will. No, I think our audience is super smart. I think our audience is pretty smart. So yes, the answer is, of course, replying all to messages. It's not a core skill and should be rarely done, except if you're trying to annoy your boss, which we don't recommend. But yeah, you can do it occasionally. The 5 skills of work are execution, thinking, communication, connection, and leadership. They're also our first 5 awards tonight, going out to organizations that use humor in each of these 5 core areas. So our first award is the Works with a Smile Award for humor and execution. It goes to the company that uses humor to increase productivity, relieve stress, and get more done. So the nominees are Care of Vitamins for sending vitamins to their customers' doors with personalized quotes and messages on the packaging. We have Cobblestone Car Wash for installing water guns for customers, bystanders, and children to play with as the car is going through the wash. And Google for launching an empty offside football museum and crowdsourcing it to tell the brave story of women's history in Brazilian football. And the winner is, drum roll, please. Cobblestone Car Wash. Woo! Cobblestone Car Wash. As our panelist Tammy put it, the interactivity of this car wash was brilliant. It truly was. And here's a picture of their Instagram with some kids enjoying the water guns right here.
That station just for kids? Because I would totally do that. And that's what's so magical about finding ways to use humor and execution. It makes you want to do an activity. In fact, I'd love to conduct another very important poll with you all right now, right? We've already seen some of the quiz questions, but also we've got some regular poll questions for you as well. And again, if you would like to join us for this, you can go to humor.me/play. You can do that on any kind of smart device enabled. In fact, if you've got a fridge at home that connects to the internet, you could play there as well. You just go to humor.me/play. And the question that I'm curious about, just to see where our audience is at, is would you all rather do something that is fun or not fun? Again, another challenging question, but go ahead and fill in your answer, fun or not fun. Now you might be thinking to yourself, okay, is it illegal? It's like, no, assuming it's a legal amount of fun, or assuming is it gonna cost a lot? No, assuming it's something relatively inexpensive that you could do, fun or not fun, those are your options. And you can think about it in any context. That could be a work context, could be a home context, could be a traffic context, I don't know, maybe. But you start to see, I'm guessing that we're probably gonna have, at least if you're like the audiences that we're doing our programs with, 99.9% of people say fun, or fun, or fun and all capitalized or anything like that. But we've got it here today as 100% fun, which is a great reminder that it stands to reason then if you were to make your emails a little bit more fun, would people be more likely to respond to them? Or if you were to make your meetings a little bit more fun, would people be more likely to attend? Or if you were to make your own work just a little bit more fun, would you be more engaged in it? And the answer is yes. That's what you see with our last award, and that's what you're going to see with our award winners tonight, including the very next category, the Funny Innovator Award. This is for humor and thinking, for the company that uses humor to enhance problem solving, improve creativity, and think outside the box. The nominees this year are first, the Bread and Cheese Cafe, who created the world's first baguette helmet. Carbside pickup instead of curbside, and life-side Muppet creatures at tables to ensure safety and distancing requirements. We've also got Counseling with Mike, a nerd therapist who uses pop culture and role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons as a creative way of doing group mental health therapy. And finally, the Duke University Libraries, who created an illustrative video to solve the problem of training students on a library takeout system. And the winner is Bread and Cheese Cafe. That is right. Panelist Abby had this to say about the award winners. Brett and she had fun visuals that the customers can interact with in a personal way, and that they were engaging and effective teaching tools at the same time. So fun and effective, that's quality award-winning material. In fact, you can take a look at one of the examples right here of the pictures on the side. You can see that both the illustration and the helmet that works, that is one way to do some social distancing. And man, I bet that they are just rolling in the dough.
That last pun was terrible. We're just gonna let Drew get away with that? Let's check in with a quick emoji poll. If you have already, join us at humor.me/play on your computer or laptop, and you can vote. How did that last pun make you feel? Be honest. As a reminder, the pun was that this innovative bakery is now rolling in the dough. What do you think? Did that pun make Drew a breadwinner? Or are his puns stale? Oh, we got some sad, some angry, a little bit of wow. Oh, we got some love it's too. All right. Oh, okay. The whole spectrum. How cool. Well, Drew, you know, you are very good at puns, so I'm glad there's some positivity in there as well. Moving on. Our next award is the Always Marcus Red Award for Humor and Communication for the company that uses humor as a way to improve communication skills. The nominees are Tackle Can Wait, a foundation raising awareness about concussions and that created a PSA comparing youth tackle American football to smoking in an effective way. Yellowstone National Park, who created a visual guide to show how to wave and safely distance from other travelers and bison. And the City of Toronto, whose Live Green program engages the community by arranging pieces of trash already found on the ground in a clever way to advertise against littering. Shout out to Canada. And the winner is, drum roll, Yellowstone National Park. Woo! This was one of our favorites, actually, and panelist Gary shared his thoughts, saying, thanks to them, I will not get eaten by a bison, which is good. That is a good thing. I'm sure you'll agree with Gary, as check out the award-winning visuals you see here. I appreciate that the last panel is just a person running. It could be a parent saying goodbye to their son, just running.
Bye, son. Got bye, son? Okay, I get it. I get bye, son there. I see what you did there, Vandad. And unlike Vandad, I thought that was an amazing pun. And thank you to the other people that loved the other one earlier. And see, I like to reward that type of behavior. And speaking of reward, as a reminder, we've got a great prize giveaway for the winner of today's quiz. One of the prizes in that Humor Starter Pack is a copy of Humor That Works, the book. It's what one HR manager called the funniest business book I've ever read. Now, granted, that review was from my mom, but I will say she knows a thing or two about humor. As she likes to say, you can't spell humor without HR, because otherwise it'd just be Umo. So to play in our prize giveaway today, we've got our second quiz question coming up. So if you want to join us for this one, just like all the other interaction, you go to humor.me/play on your laptop or phone. You're able to join us. And our next question is a communication question. This one is, based on a 1967 study, what percentage of communication is nonverbal? What kind of percentage of general communication is nonverbal? Is it 93%, 7%, or none of the above? Right, so we're thinking about what percentage of communication, what have we heard? We've probably maybe heard of some statistics in the past of like, oh, it's nonverbal, so that means there's a good chunk of the amount of time that we spend communicating. Which one could it be, right? Those are really specific percentages too, so it's probably, yeah, a lot of people think it's 93%. The correct answer, of course, is none of the above. See, now there was a study in the 60s that was done that suggested 93% of communication was nonverbal, but only in very specific scenarios, specifically in one-on-one communication when emotions were high. right? Only in those scenarios. Some people have taken that to mean like, oh, it's 93% nonverbal all of the time. So really the words that we say don't really matter, but how we say it. Obviously that has an impact on our message, but the words actually matter as well. Because if 7% of communication was just verbal, 93% wasn't, I could do this entire presentation, Vandad could as well, in gibberish. In mine, we could just be like, and then you would be able to get the whole thing. But instead, words matter, but so do the emotions. So do the emotional components to it, and that is something that our next award helps to recognize. This is the Everybody Loves Them Award for humor and connection. This is for the company that uses humor to build relationships with coworkers, clients, and everyone in between. The nominees for 2021 are RevLocal, a digital marketing company that created an interview-style video as an interesting way to connect with and get to know their president, Aaron Boggs. We also have We Rate Dogs, a social media account that rates and celebrates good dogs online. They compile videos posted by dog owners around the world and connect with people by creating videos like the Dogs of 2021. And the New Jersey Lawyers Assistance Program, which helps lawyers with training, support, and resources on career concerns. Stress and runs a well-being week every May with free resources like free laughter yoga classes. And the winner for 2021 is, drum roll please, the New Jersey Lawyers Assistant Program. Right. When sharing why this person selected the New Jersey Lawyers Assistant Program or voted for them, Don said, I love the variety of the ways that the program brought humor into the workplace. A career that's defined by high stakes, high stress situations. It's attempting to help the field evolve toward a more positive, laughter-generating conditions. I couldn't agree more with Don's assessment. Some of the topics that the New Jersey Lawyers Assistant Program hosted for their audience included programs on resilience, stress management, meditation, and laughter yoga, which, contrary to what I believed originally, laughter yoga is not when a yoga instructor says to do something like a handstand scorpion and you just laugh in their face because there's no way your body can bend like that, right? That is not something that I can do.
You know, you may not be that flexible, Drew, but you know who is? Our nominees for the next award, the Lincoln Leadership Award for Humor and Leadership, for the companies that use humor to strengthen leadership, to create a compelling vision, and align teams. Did you like that segue from yoga, or was it a bit of a stretch? Yeah. The nominees are Comedy Cures, a foundation that hosted a laughter summit, a full week of humor activities to celebrate National Humor Month, including 29 humor thought leaders and 15 hilarious comedians. F. Hoffman LaRoche, a Swiss healthcare company whose Culture Coalition team runs their global webcast with animations and even puppets who provide commentary to decrease any potential tension. Geico Insurance, who continues to create a compelling vision and motivate us to talk about the traditionally boring insurance topic with the comedic commercials like Tag Team Helps with Dessert. And the winner is Comedy Cures. Woo! As our panelist Abby said, Comedy Cures has a strong focus on comedy for a purpose of uniting members of the team and their community, and not just to be funny or sell more products. Here's a look at the lineup for comedy that Comedy Cures put together for their Laughter Summit. And wait a second, that last face looks a little familiar.
Yeah, so that face there down at the bottom, yeah, I've seen that one before, but I swear that me being a part of the lineup had nothing to do with them being selected as the award winners. I had recused myself of voting on that particular one because I was involved with it, so it wasn't me. Also, I do want to give a shout out to the Culture Coalition at La Roche, because they have done some compelling things. They did an entire event that also included puppets, which is a pretty compelling way to make a corporate meeting a little bit more exciting. But we're just going to move on from that picture, because our next set of categories is going to be focused on the individuals, because that first category was about the organizations doing great humor work. This is about the individual humorists out there making a difference on their own, embodying the humor that works spirit of being the humorist you wish to see in the world. These nominations are themed by the different humor personality styles from the Humor That Works Humor Month. In fact, if you want to discover your own humor personality, you can go to humor.me/assessment and take a quick quiz. And yes, Skeptic is one of those profiles. But you'll find out what your particular humor personality is, what the strengths and weaknesses are of that particular personality, and how you can start to leverage it in the workplace a little bit more. But like I said, the skeptics are someone out there. In fact, we did an entire series appealing to the skeptics out there to help them actually start to learn the benefits of humor, because we know it's not always puppy dogs and milkshakes when it comes to using humor. In fact, did you know you can die from laughter? Well, we made a video just to kind of demonstrate a little bit more about that, and we'll take a look. Laughter can be deadly. Doctors at a medical center in Burlington, Massachusetts treated a 62-year-old man who had fainted on at least 3 occasions, each while watching the television show Seinfeld. And specifically, they called out the antics of George Costanza, character played by Jason Alexander. Now that's impressive. No one has ever passed out from one of my jokes. Although I did make a kid vomit once during an improv show we did in high school. It turns out that he had the flu, and a line from me was enough he needed to just make him up-chuckle. Up-chuckle. That's great. Vomit, albeit embarrassing, is nothing compared to some people who have died from. But this isn't just the source of material for British sketch TV shows. In 1989, a Danish audiologist named Olin Benson found a scene from the movie A Fish Called Wanda so funny that his heart rate rose to an estimated 250 beats per minute, leading to a heart attack. The scene that was so deadly funny? The one where Michael Palin gets french fries stuck up his nose. And if you're not keeling over from laughter right now, you just need to catch up. Chrysippus, or Chrysippus, someone, a 3rd century BC Greek Stoic philosopher, allegedly died from laughing at his own joke. The story goes that he saw a donkey eating figs, and so he told someone to give the donkey some wine to wash him down, and then proceeded to laugh so much that he died. Honestly, I think that's the way that I want to go, laughing at my own joke that's not even particularly good. Wow, that was quite the hairstyle that I had. Much longer. See, I got it vaccinated. We're able to do an in-studio kind of session, and I got a haircut. Or as my dad would then further prod, I got all of my hairs cut. So luckily, the good news, though, is that none of our next appreciators suffered any of that fate of dying from laughter, because that is our very first individual humor award, that for the humor appreciator. And this is for the individual who enjoys the humor of everyday life, whether that's always watching something funny or always a bright smile in your day. The nominees for 2021 are Sarin Rothberg, who appreciates humor in a variety of ways, and her laugh is one of the best things about her humor work. When she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, she threw herself a chemo comedy party as a way to laugh away some of the pain, and it worked. We also have Mary Mccarthy, a 31-year-old New Yorker who appreciates the everyday joys and humor of being engaged and documenting the highs and lows of her unbejeweled left hand. So what I mean by she's engaged in her work and the thing she does, but she's not engaged in the sense of she hasn't put a ring on it yet. So great appreciation for Mary. And finally, we also have Reddit user Handsquatch and his mother, a combo that truly appreciates everyday life. In the submission video, the son is finding joy in doing free technology support for his mom, and the mom has one of the sweetest and most endearing laughs you'll ever hear. And the winner is... Reddit user Handsquatch. That's right. And of course, his mom for the contagious laughter. Panelist Tammy gave her reasoning for selecting Handsquatch's mom because she said, because I hope my son will help me while making me laugh like that as well. In fact, we can't talk about that laughter and not hear a little bit of it, so let's see the video.
I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Be still. Love you.
That is some contagious laughter. You know what isn't a laughing matter, though? Competition. So it's time for another quiz question. If you win today's quiz, just a reminder, you'll also walk away with a Blue Yeti USB microphone, one of the most popular microphones for getting crisp audio for your virtual meetings, voice recordings, or podcasts. Because, hey, who doesn't have a podcast these days? And you could totally interview me on that podcast if you wanted. If you're just joining us, you can play by going to humor.me/play on your phone or on your computer. So the question is, which of the following is a benefit to laughing? Is it A, it releases endorphins, B, burns calories, or C, both of the above? Oh, and we have, as expected, a very smart audience. Everyone's going both 1 and 2. We got a few seconds left. Oh, releases endorphins is getting a couple votes. I'm really good at kind of giving it away before we actually say it. So you probably guessed it. The answer is C, both 1 and 2. Laughter releases endorphins and burns calories. It also relaxes muscles and increases tolerance to pain. So next time you get into a fight, just start laughing. That way the punches will hurt less and the other person will think you're crazy and probably back away. If you need something to laugh about, just follow the nominees in our next category. The next category is a humor curator, for the individual who likes to collect and share things that make them laugh with other people. Whether that's a funny meme, a clip from a TV show, or jokes and stories they've picked up along the way, the nominees are Megan B. Kelly, who curated her favorite memes throughout the year to bring levity and joy to others. She also goes the extra mile to include the memes that almost made the cut. Jen Monier, a science journalist who curated a list of songs with roughly 20-second choruses to sing while washing our hands to encourage thorough cleaning, and for all of us who are tired of singing happy birthday to ourselves over and over and over and over again. And Adriano Lanzaloto, an insurance professional who curated some industry-specific humor leading up to a virtual conference, a creative way to engage and network with other people leading up to an event, and an example of how you can find humor in all situations, even the serious industries. And the winner is Adriano Lanzaloto. Woo! As our panelist Dawn said, I think the field of risk management is the very opposite of humor. Adriano has proved me wrong. I especially love humor that is field specific and filled with inside jokes where some of the laughter comes from one's tongue being firmly in the cheek. Can you believe we're actually doing this? And a couple of examples from the curated video include, would Transformers buy life insurance or car insurance? And my wife and I took out life insurance policies on each other, so now it's just a waiting game.
Oh, that is good. That is good. Now, in order to be a good curator, to exist, to have the content to curate, someone needs to actually create it, which is worth celebrating in its own right. The next award is for those humor creators, for the individual who does a great job creating humor and the world around them and crafting it in such a way that other people can enjoy it. The nominees for 2021 are Jeff Harry, who creates Rediscover Your Play videos that satirize and poke fun at daily life and the world situation, like exercise and 90s music. We also have Maggie Johnston, who is an aspiring marketer who created an interactive resume for a job posting, a creative and playful way to improve the standard application process. P.S. She got the job. And finally, CGP Grey, an educational YouTuber from the UK that created a video that illustrates and cleverly summarizes the text from the book The Invisible Hook, The Hidden Economics of Pirates. This year's winner is CGP Grey. That's right. Shout out to CGP. Abby shared that CGP combines creativity with high production value, despite the stick figures that he uses, so it stays with you, which is always a win. And I agree. Here's a look at just some of the videos from his YouTube channel, including the nominated How to Be a Pirate video, Lockdown Productivity, and Which Planet is the Closest, which is an easy answer because it's Planet Fitness. I mean, I see them on the street everywhere.
You could argue that what makes CGP videos so good is the delivery, which is what we're recognizing with the humor performer next. For the individual who is the consummate humor performer, they know how to speak in such a way to keep people hanging on every one of their words. This year's nominees are Michael Mcadam, a WestJet Airlines flight attendant who makes the flight safety presentation easier to digest. He uses lots of physical humor in English and French and makes a memorable performance. Rod, a TikTok performer who focuses on millennial problems and mashes them up with popular songs from middle school to joke about the corporate work life. And Lisa Faye, a speaker who was crowned Champion Funkster for FunkQuest Virtual UK Season 3, an interactive, improvised question and answer discussion game. And the winner is, drum roll, Michael Mcadam for his performance of the safety briefing before a flight. It's truly entertaining if you can go check it out online. As our panelist Tammy said, this dude makes a really boring part of the job really, really funny. I love him. Here's a look at the pre-pandemic video of Michael performing the safety demo.
To release the previously proportion of the buckle. Turbulence may occur with no warnings. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times, even when the seatbelt sign is off. In the event of emergency, you will hear the command to brace. Refer to your safety features card. Roll number of each emergency exits on board this aircraft. There are 4 window exits located in cabin over the wing, 2 emergency doors located in the forward, and 2 emergency doors exits located in the rear. Please take home and find the exit nearest to you along with all the exits keeping in mind.
Wow, what a great performance, just to deliver something so, what's standardly like pretty boring in just a quite emotive way, pretty impressive. And maybe that's why we've got so many frowny faces in our first emoji poll. Maybe it wasn't the pun, maybe it was the delivery. So I think it's time for another emoji poll. So you're gonna share your reaction to this pun. If you haven't already, you can go to join our interactive show by going to humor.me/play, and you can give your emoji reaction to this particular pun. And the pun is, what's the key to being a good ghost? It's to act supernatural. Right? That's pretty good. I feel like that's pretty good. So go ahead and feel free to share what emoji that inspires within you. Right? Maybe some of you are sad, maybe you're angry, maybe you're like, wait, huh? I don't get it, right? Supernatural. Or maybe you're like, wow, my mind is blown. That's such an amazing pun. Wow. I can't even, I'm speechless. Maybe that's your reaction. Only one person has that reaction. We're getting some love out there. I love to, of course, see the love that we've got out there. So thank you for all that. I think you all know that unless I get one that there's love, there's just gonna be more puns that come up. So as an engineer, that makes me very happy. As does the next award
this is Van Dad from Humor That Works.
That we are celebrating, and that is the award for the humor engineer. This is for the individual who strategically uses humor to solve problems, whether that's making their own work more fun or getting past a sticking point. And this year's nominees are, first, Mike Namith, the CEO of a U.S. apparel company, Emblem Athletic, who used humor to solve the problem of not having any models during the pandemic for the company to do a photo shoot with, so he became the model himself. We also have Katie Osborne, who uses humor to communicate mental health topics and help people deal with ADHD. She finds a funny way to share the challenges of ADHD and normalizes it. And finally, David Matthew Pryor, a leadership coach who uses humor strategically with his coaching clients. And this year's winner is Katie Osborne for her ADHD videos. That's right. As Gary shared, he said, she made the topic of ADHD very accessible and fun. I seriously got sucked in and spent a good 11 minutes scrolling her TikTok. And 11 minutes on TikTok time is like 8 hours in regular life, I think. Very, very impressive. You can see a quick look at Katie's TikTok feed, and you can see why there's a wide variety of videos covering a range of topics, all with a humorous slant. It's no wonder that she's generated 12.6 million likes on the platform.
That is a lot of likes. Something our last award nominees also like to receive, but in real life. The humor advocate is for the individual who creates the space and encourages the use of humor for themselves and for others. The nominees for 2021 are Marie-Amélie George, a professor who makes a space for students to enjoy their classwork and use humor by asking students to send photos of their dogs doing classwork. Hug Ops, the story of software engineers who keep the cloud running and encourage people to support others and have empathy when websites go down. And Kathy Klotz-Guest, a speaker and author who advocates for more humor in leadership and improvisation in business. And the final winner is, drum roll, Dr. Marie-Amélie George. Our panelist, Don, who is a professor himself, shared, I give Marie-Amélie George the top mark for this category because it is a great example of let's just try something different. If I were a student in her classes, I would feel at ease, and that this semester would be fun, and that I'd actually want to learn what she teaches. That is no small accomplishment, and we fully agree. It is no wonder why. Here's a tweet showcasing what she means. One of the best parts of the comments section is that other people showcasing pets with books, including my favorite, this dog who looks fully immersed in this material.
Yeah, so we are down to our final quiz question. And whoever is atop the leaderboard after this one walks away with a great prize pack, including a humor coaching session with us, Humor That Works, where we can help you find ways to use humor in your work and or life. If you want to find a way to add more of a positive workplace culture, we'll help you learn to lead with levity. If you want to add some punchlines to your presentations, we'll help you go from blah to ha. And if you want us to serenade you with puns for the entire time, well, call us a carrot because we're ready to coach. We're not gonna vote on that one because it's so bad. I don't want to see what the emoji response is. So instead, we're gonna go into our last quiz question. Like I said, whoever is at the top of the leaderboard after this one, they're gonna win. To play, if you haven't already, you may not win if this is your last question, but you can still play along for fun. But go to humor.me/play to join. And finally, we're gonna have our final set of questions. And we're going to see kind of what that is. So go ahead and share the quiz question. What is our goal at Humor That Works? Is it to recognize those using humor for specifically the Corporate Humor Awards? Is the primary goal of the Corporate Humor Awards to recognize those using humor, just to show off our sweet MC skills, or puns? Right, based on how much of this program you've watched, maybe it is puns. There's a good percentage there, right? You've got to check it out. You've got to weigh how important are puns versus the recognition piece. That's absolutely the type of response that I do want to see. The majority of people did get the correct answer because ultimately our mission at Humor That Works is to help people recognize that humor is a vital skill at work, and then we want to teach people how to use it. And the Corporate Humor Awards are a way for us to, one, recognize the people who are doing that, and then two, give you easy case studies that you can follow. taking a look at any of the award winners or even the nominees this evening, you can start to say, oh, well, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can curate a list on my Twitter feed, or maybe I can create some videos in an interesting way. You can use all of these groups as different forms of inspiration. So we've now are calculating the winner. We're going to do all of that kind of crazy math on the back end side to see which kind of winner itself is the actual person that brings up. So once we have that, the winner is viewer 3404, which that is for, you know, anonymous purposes. Yay, confetti. Oh man, that is super fun. Congratulations to viewer 3404. We'll get your actual real name, your information. In fact, if you share your details there, if you've been playing along, we're going to send along a few free digital downloads for you as well, just for playing along. And for the winner, we'll be reaching out to get you all of those prizes that we've talked about today. And first, we want to give a huge thank you as we start to wrap up today, a huge thank you to our humor panelists, right? We're just honored to have all of you as part of what we've done today. In fact, I'd love to see them even zoomed up a little bit more, because they've been a huge focus for this actual event to make it actually possible to come across. Another person that actually has made this possible is the person that you see actually standing right here next to me, and that is Vandad. Vandad, thank you for all of your help in making the Corporate Humor Awards possible this year as well. It's been, I mean, how was the process? Because you do a lot of, I get to be the fun face in front of the camera sometimes. You do a lot of the work behind the scenes. How was the process finding some of these nominees, or at least selecting the finalists?
Yeah, it was a joy. I would say it's great to curate and find all these humor stories online, and finding is the easy part. Really, the award winners are the ones who do all the work in their companies and in their lives. So yeah, it was a joy. That's true. It absolutely was a great joy for all of those putting out there that humor out there, for the finalists, of course, whether they won or not, and all the people who nominated and didn't make it to the finals. All of that work is so incredibly important, and we just want to help to appreciate it. And it can be fun to appreciate. I had a great time doing this. One of my favorite things about this is that, so my wife joined a little bit late, and when she joined, it was right at the phase that we were announcing one of the winners. And so a few of us in the studio were starting to clap. She didn't hear why we were clapping. She just saw everyone was clapping. She's like, yes, I'm going to clap too. I'm going to join. I don't know what we're clapping about, but that seems like a lot of fun to be able to do. So she joined in with that appreciation as well. Now, of course, none of this would have been possible for the live stream award show today without the help of Steady Now Productions. Steady Now Production helps with both live and virtual events, and of course, the hybrid events that are coming. That's right, that's going to be the future. Is almost everything is going to be hybrid. And so if you're planning an event, you're going to need a strong production team to help you out. That's something that I've had a great joy of working with Steady Now with some different clients as well as for today. So a huge shout out to Steady Now for all of their help and making all of this technology. They made us look way better than I think we actually look. Yeah, for sure. They do a phenomenal job. If you're ever in New York or Brooklyn and you want a team to help you elevate your event, look them up. Yeah, and this is how professional they are. They have laughed at each one of the puns that I have shared, and that's because they know that it makes me happy. Right? And they know that it's not even necessarily going to be a good one, but they're like, they're going to laugh just to make us happy. So they're a great joy to work with. Checking them out as well. And of course, a huge thank you to everyone involved. Yes, and I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's watching tonight and for joining us for our 30 Days of Humor. What a great month it was, and I think it goes without saying thank you to Drew for putting all this together. This is your company that you started, so it's great. I think it's a great way to showcase all the things that Humor That Works stand for, so well done to you as well. Thank you. I appreciate that, and of course none of this would be possible from Humor That Works without the great work from the COO of Humor That Works, Vandad, and of course to Paige, who is on our team, Tess, who's done a tremendous amount of work. If you've done any of the community events, if you've joined our open mic or our writing workshop or saw yesterday's community showcase, that's all been run by Tess Tregellis and all of her help. Bianca on the back end side of helping us support. So none of this is done kind of entirely on its own. It's all of us kind of working together. And of course, to all of you, 30 straight days of humor content, ranging from videos to workshops to open mics. Not to mention office hours and podcast interviews. And of course, the Humor Awards, which we have right now. Yeah, so like what's next? Like how
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true. That I mean, the National Humor Month, it is over, and I think the entire team is going to take a much-needed, deserved break. But we're going to be back. We're going to be back with some really cool experiences starting up in May. To stay up to date on all of those things that are coming your way, be sure to subscribe to our humor newsletter at humor.me/newsletter. That's humor.me/newsletter, so you can sign up and basically learn about all the events that they're happening when we've got new products launching or digital downloads or some of the events that we're going to continue to do. Again, all that information is at humor.me/newsletter.
So until then, I've been Vandad Pourbrami.
And I've been Andrew Tarvin. Until next time, thank you so much for joining for the 2021 Corporate Humor Awards, and we'll hopefully see you all sometime soon.